SUVs. There are so many of them. Thankfully, I'm at a place where only the real ones can come. I am here in ORAZ, Gurgaon, off-road adventure zone, and you can see a ton of obstacles through which I'm going to put these SUVs. When we talk about SUVs, it has to be body on frame, it has to have four-wheel drive, and the Isuzu MU-X here has all that and more. And the segment leader, of course, has to be here, which is the Toyota Fortuner. But since I made this t-shirt long back, I had to get the Tata Safari Storme 2. Now further in the video, I'm going to be referring this as the real Safari. These three cars are very similar because all of them are based on a body on frame platform. All of them are traditionally rear wheel drive with four wheel drive, of course, and all of them can really get dirty. Let's get going. Before that, let me give you a quick introduction about these cars. Starting with the Tata Safari Storme, this is a genuine real SUV, the last from Tata Motors, because after that they've just launched pseudo SUVs. Now this one is the Varicore 400 and obviously four wheel drive too. The good thing about this car is it was quite affordable when it was discontinued. Around 2019 end, when they pulled the plug on this car, the price was around rupees 20 lakhs on road, making it very much value for money, considering the current Safari is almost 50% more expensive with less capability. Yeah, 29 lakhs on road for the fake Safari. Anyways, this is a beautiful car. It's amazing, and it's powered by a 2.2 liter engine producing 156 horsepower, 400 Newton meters of torque. But the car which sells the most in the SUV segment happens to be this one. This is of course the Toyota Fortuner. Now this is the four-wheel drive model. No Legender, no GRS here. That's the reason the price of this car is quite affordable, if I can say that. No, Faisal, you can't, because it is 49.94 lakhs on road Mumbai. Yes, that's expensive. Now this is powered by a 2.8 liter engine, and this one produces 204 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque for the automatic. The manual produces slightly less, but nobody really cares. Coming to the Isuzu MU-X, very underrated vehicle for multiple reasons. Firstly, Isuzu has actually unveiled a massively updated model almost 2 years back, but we are being sold the old model. This is powered by a 1.9 liter engine. This one produces 163 horsepower, which isn't much, but okay, torque output is fine. Actually, it's quite much when you compare to the Safari, but yeah, like 8 horsepower more, nobody really cares. The good thing about this car is it's smooth and it's Japanese, so it's reliable. But I'll tell you a very shocking fact, and it's quite shocking. This Isuzu MU-X is actually longer, wider and taller than the Toyota Fortuner. Yeah, crazy big. All these three cars, other than the fact that their pricing is very different, actually this is cheaper by around 3.5 lakhs when compared to the Fortuner. They all use a hydraulic power steering, shift on the fly four wheel drive. They have low range gearbox as well, so 4 low will help you go almost everywhere. Very similar in many ways, so it's kind of difficult to choose a winner, but I already know who the winner is and I'm sure you do too. But let's do one thing, let's start driving now. Okay, so first up, the Fortuner, air conditioning off, we get into neutral. Yeah, why do we get into neutral? Simply because we need to get into 4 low, and that's going to make this sound. Yeah, when it's going to activate 4 low. First it will activate 4-wheel drive and then it will get into 4 low. So that's taking some time. It's blinking. Meanwhile, I will also turn off traction control, which will anyways get turned off in 4 low. It says auto LSD, limited slip differential. Come on, engage 4 low. It's taking so long to engage, I don't know why. Okay, 4 low activated, and we will also turn on the electronic rear diff lock. And traction control is off we go, drive mode, and here we are. So first things first, this is the articulation test, or you can call it the axle twisters, very slowly because obviously we don't have to go fast. And first one is obviously very chintu mintu, no issue at all. Okay, there the Fortuner is going. Just keep the steering straight and everything happens on its own. Off-road driving is almost autonomous, I kid you not. Why are we going first in the Fortuner? Simply because the Fortuner is the best off-road. So since it's the best, I will know the benchmark when I'm driving the other cars on the same obstacles, that is. And then here we go, we are almost done as well. So that was quite easy, no issues. I think the holes for the articulation could be more extreme, but here no issue, we are done. On to the next obstacle, which is again a little bit lallu pallu. So as we keep going, things will become a little tougher and tougher. You see this one on the right, we are not going to go there because that's only for cars like the Thar and all, because it's extreme drop there, and the problem is that the Fortuner's bumper will get scraped here. Anyways, on to the next thing called the logs. And why is it making this sound? ABS sound is coming, so it disables almost all the electronics. Yeah, now it's making some traction control sound, or it's telling me don't speed when you're driving through off-road sections, of course. And here we are to the log section, which is obviously going to be a cakewalk for the Fortuner. Now, another thing is that all the three cars which I'm driving today are actually on HT tires. Yeah, that's right. So they're not on off-road specific tires, but since there is no slush, there is no muck or anything of that sort, there will be no issue whatsoever. And then we are going to climb that as well. Quite easy, quite effortless, no problem. The car just glides through. So I think the Fortuner needs a bigger challenge, which hopefully we will find later on with more extreme obstacles, that is. Yeah, there we are done. Next up is this thing, which is 45 degrees sidewall test or something of that sort. So here we keep going left, and then now don't roll over, baby, don't roll over. So you're just testing that, the rollover test. It will obviously not roll over, so I have to keep going upward. Oh my god, now I think I am going to completely turn over. I'm just kidding. Okay, it's actually a cakewalk. Car goes very easily without any hesitation. Yeah, we're done. Honestly, the Fortuner is so good now that everything feels like a cakewalk. So next up is something which is extreme. Okay, we're going to be probably testing the breakover angle. No, we're not going to go on the left one because there isn't much space to stop. Here there is. So yeah, 4 low, no problem. Keep the momentum and we will just manage that easily. And now is the incline test. Little bit on the throttle, little bit, not much. And okay, pointing straight, I can't see a thing, honestly. Kuch nahi dikh raha mujhe. I'm so little on the throttle, like 10% honestly, and there we are on top. Now we are going to go down, which means on the brakes. And now it's time to go down, which means either I can turn on downhill assist, pressing a button, but I don't need to do that because I'm going to do it myself, which is, oh my goodness, slowly releasing the brake, tapping it, and oh my goodness, and oh my goodness, car is slipping a little bit. Okay, slowly we'll release the brakes, very slowly, and there the car will correct on its own. Yeah, that's it. Straight steering and we are done. In fact, I can actually speed up as well if I want to, but I don't need to do that, honestly. A little bit turn because I think the car is sliding from the rear, and here we are, done. And then we climb back up. Honestly, it's such a cakewalk in the Fortuner na. A little worry was there कि कहीं bumper ना scrape हो जाए, but no, none of that issue because there's decent approach angle, but not that good also na that you can go like a cakewalk around some of the obstacles. Like one I was telling you na, I'm going to skip because there obviously the bumper will get scraped for sure. But because I'm in 4 low, obviously there's more torque which is offered, which restricts the RPM and the speed. But the good thing is that it becomes so much easier because the additional torque which comes in 4 low. Plus the other benefit is the noisy engine becomes even more noisier, so you can enjoy that if you like here, see? Yeah, the engine needs more refinement, more sure. And this is the next one, which is similar to what we did, but it's the opposite way instead. Okay, under the bridge drop, and here we go. Honestly, I don't even feel the need to put any input on the accelerator or the brake because car does everything on its own. 4 low is such a blessing. Now, if your car has 4 low, half your batteries are one there only. And there we are. Okay, now because this car is not obnoxiously tall, there's no issue of crossing this bridge, which is right ahead. And it is decently wide. I'm just worried now the GoPro is actually like a little bit outwards. And that's it. Now we're going to climb here. Now I'm feeling a little adventurous. Should we try and make a jump or something? Why not? Let's get into the throttle. Here we go. That was easy peasy. Okay, further, more articulation. This has some metal placed below. And kuch nahi, सीधा chalo. Bas the angle of your car is super important when doing all these things now, because you just need to make sure that your car is going in the right direction. And yeah, that's done. Now next up is more articulation. I think this is slightly deeper, I presume. Yeah, seems minutely deeper. No, not really. It will get now, I guess. No, it's a cakewalk. Another cakewalk again. The good thing is ground clearance is ample. So this car has a ground clearance of 225 mm, which is honestly not the most amongst all the other cars here. The Safari has the least at 200 mm, and the Isuzu MU-X actually has 230 mm of ground clearance. Next up is more aggressive articulation, which means, oh my goodness, and here we go. Yeah, I think I should have gone maybe faster from there. Basically, the spotter told me that you should go in a lot more speed and go fast, then only the wheel will lift. And I went so fast that nothing literally can be seen. So we're going to do it again, and this time I'm going to be obviously slower. And here we go, no wasting of time unnecessarily. And there we are. So in that point between the transfer now, that is when the wheel lifts, and that point is coming now. Now there it goes. Yes, I think we've got a good shot finally. Things you have to do two times for the camera, I tell you. And here we are going for the third time. For more lift, I'm going more rightwards. Everything is sliding, and here let's see how much the wheel goes up. There you can see it. Oh my god. That was fun. And time for rock crawl. And the thing is that I initially thought we'll go over that. Obviously we will not make it without breaking a few things, but anyways, here we go. Easy peasy. You know what, there's some engine oil lying in the boot, very un-Toyota like characteristic, because of which there's some sound coming of liquid. I initially thought it's water, and there, okay, there are some tires ahead. Managing this so beautifully well. Tire on tire, will there be traction? I believe there will be. Of course there will be. Look at that. Done and dusted. Look at my legs. I'm not even pressing the accelerator or the brake. This car is doing everything on its own, and that's the beauty of a real SUV. That's the reason Espresso is the best SUV in the world. Just kidding, but you know, with 4-wheel drive and obviously body on frame platform, never have to worry about anything. Everything is just so freaking smooth and unhindered, which makes me believe that I should go around this thing, which is right ahead of me. This particular section, we are going to do one thing. We are going to climb here. Yeah, there we go. And then we are going to go round and round and round and round, and here, yeah. Again, we are testing the car's articulation in one way, and probably the ability to not topple in spite of being almost, yeah, this is actually nothing but because of the turning radius. Now this car is not going to continue going like this. It is going to drop any moment. Yeah, there, it has not sustained the circle. It cannot do this circle. Come on, this is a Fortuner. Turning radius is a bitch without a doubt. Next up, let's actually take a U-turn, which I was complaining about the turning radius, which doesn't seem all that bad now because I managed to turn from here. And the next obstacle obviously happens to be the swing. Yeah, your chance will also come. Look at that gypsy. Anyways, here we go. Now, the thing is that weight balance is very important here, because that is what is going to swing that side so that we can go to the other side, of course. You always need guidance in such activities, because I mean, I really don't know what's happening outside, so that's a bit of a problem. And here we keep going straight. I feel I'm more towards the left, but the person who's guiding me ahead is like, oh, you're perfecto. And now keep going. I can't see him. Yeah, I have to go a little ahead because obviously there. Oh my goodness, did I just break the chassis? No. Maybe I broke my back. Jokes aside, yeah, that is a bit of a challenge when the car swings the other way. Now the impact is, oh my MG, a lot. Straight up. Now these are camel humps, I believe. We have to be a little slow because we are going down, 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 down. Yeah, baby. And I'm like pointing dead straight downwards. You have some shame or what? You know what's the sound? That was the parking sensor sound coming from the car. So while going up, we are a little bit careful. While coming down, we are also a little bit careful. Yeah, I think there is not much of a problem. It's just car can just go so easily. So honestly, you know, you have to put water in the mix to really have more adventure, because that's what makes things difficult with lesser grip and traction. Okay, and here we have to go slowly. Brake and leaving the brake, brake and leaving the brake. Okay, look at that. Yeah, it's easy, actually it's not difficult at all. only wish this car had a beautiful 360-degree camera, then my life would be so much more sorted. And oh my goodness, here we are climbing like crazy, and there we are pointing to the sky. Even when I leave the throttle in between, I don't have anything to worry about because I know there is so much grunt from this engine, and there immediately I'm going to stop here. Why? Let ORAZ actually come here and shoot us stupid people. What are you thinking, huh? And there we go. You know, the steering is a bit difficult off-road mein because it's quite heavy. Huh? Shut up, parking sensors. Yeah, the steering is very heavy, and you know, because of the extreme angle change, I was like, okay, will it touch? No, it will not touch the front. So there's good amount of clearance in that regard. Another one of those which we have done earlier. This is not as extreme, so it's relatively going to be easier because here we go straight away. No issue at all. Done and dusted. And then now it's the drop time. So the spotter is my eyes when I'm going like this, and here we go. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Did you hear some sound or something? My phone just fell down. This is actually more extreme than I thought. Okay. Oh, something turned off. Yeah, the camera on the outside actually turned off because I think it's heated up and battery is good. And this was also the last obstacle, because after this, obviously, we are switching to the other car, and this is done. We are not going on that. So yeah, and then another small obstacle here, just like no problem at all. Now let's get into the MU-X. Okay, next up is the Isuzu MU-X. Straight away, let's get into 4-low. There it is. Trying to activate it. Oh, there's the sound for getting into 4-wheel drive. Traction control automatically turned off as well. 4-low engaged. Okay, air conditioning off, and straight away into drive. Handbrake down, and manual mode. Why not? Not really. We don't need it actually. We start with articulation, and let's see how much different it is when compared to the Fortuner. And here is the first one. Actually, I'm not even on the throttle, not on the brake, and there first one was small, obviously. Next up is a little bigger one, but okay, no issue whatsoever. Car is actually doing it pretty smoothly. That's kind of nice, and that's something I expected because the ground clearance actually happens to be better. Here you see, yeah, smooth, no issues whatsoever. Pretty nice. In fact, the Fortuner is very good off-road, but the Isuzu MU-X is also very good off-road. The only thing is not many people actually take it off-road because not many people buy this car. Now this is powered by 1.9 liter engine which produces 163 horsepower and 316 Newton meters of torque. Now we are coming to the log test, and again, log test kind of seems pointless to me because any car will actually make it. The Espresso will make mincemeat of such a test. There you see, straight log test. The thing was that I was doing it for the first time on this particular track with the Fortuner, so I was just getting used to it and understanding where to go next and all that, what protocols to follow. Now that is done, this Isuzu will simply fly because now I've got the experience and the know-how of where and what. So basically, the moral of the story is no matter how expert you are, when you hit a new terrain, you have to be slow, try to get used to it. And the slower you are, the better it is off-road. That's how it works. That's the reason why 4-low actually decreases the speed. The 4-low actually decreases speed because obviously it has more to do with the fact that the ratio changes. Anyways, it's time to head to this one. Now I don't need to explain any of the obstacles to you. You guys already know what is what obstacle. And there you see, no problem with the MU-X. Very easily done. Yeah, and now I'm not panicking also because I know what is going to happen. But every time, and I've done a lot of these, every time you come for the first time to a new place, you're like, how will I fare? Will I be able to do it properly? Will it be a challenge for me? Yeah, it seems it's not a challenge at all. So that advantage which the Fortuner has, that has been nullified by me having experience in the Isuzu. And straight up, here we go. All right. And yeah, now I'm pointing towards the sky. And here it's time to actually play with the brakes, dab it a bit here and there, and yeah, steering as much straight as possible. It's all about holding the steering as straight as possible because there are times where the car will actually there picked up pace, and we are out of this obstacle as well. That was easy peasy. We have to go to this one next, and actually I take that opportunity to get onto the throttle in between, you know, occasionally. And yeah, see, because it's 4-low, it's revving a lot. Somehow I find this car to be slightly smoother. I thought it's auto one touch. No, it's not. I have to actually manually do it, which is a bit of a bummer. So yeah, it actually has a better cabin, I feel, in terms of the plastic quality. It's not that hard or evident that it's hard. Anyways, next up, here we go, and straight up, straight, no problem. I can do this so fast now that we can have a race, time race, like who can do it the fastest. That would be kind of interesting. There's that bridge. Ground clearance is not an issue because of, I mean, the height is not an issue because the height is obviously more when compared to the Fortuner. In fact, I was driving slowly last time around because my camera person also needs to, actually it's not my camera person, Aris is a friend who is just helping me to shoot today. He also needs to move around now, so that's the reason I'm taking it slowly. I could have gone by now, but he also needs to shoot because they are seeing the clip side by side. And let's get on the throttle. A little bit jump time as well. And straight up, we have got more articulation right in front, which you will do right away, immediately that is. So articulation is not an issue for a body on frame vehicle. And here, simple, easy, done and dusted. It's a cakewalk for such kind of cars, absolute cakewalk. Yeah, you just keep your steering as straight as possible, like you straighten up before getting into any obstacle. The reason why the steering moves now and when you feel actually you're not pointing in the right way is purely because the car moves a bit now. So with the angle movement, you feel that, okay, you're not going the right direction, but not a problem here. Straight up into this obstacle as well. Yeah. This car has good amount of grunt. I feel turbo lag is better contained when compared to the Fortuner, which is a good thing. And that's also done. So honestly, both of these cars are on par, at least on such a circuit. Okay, I can't say the Fortuner is superior or the Isuzu is not as good, because both of them are fantastic on such a terrain. And time to go here, 45 degrees, and off we go. I'm a bit towards the right for a little bit more drama, so that you can see the wheel going a little bit more aggressively upwards, slowing down here so that there's some time gap between that. And I slowed down so much that I actually got kind of stuck as well. I could see that car was putting a little bit more revs to get out of there. Not the car, actually, I was only putting the revs. But anyways, now next up is this rock crawl, which we should do immediately. Before that, we should do that. No, we'll do that later. First, we'll do the rock crawl. That's what we did last time, right? This car's like flying here. Honestly, the steering is hydraulic, so it's heavy, but it's lighter than the one on the Fortuner, which is actually a boon here. And straight up, we are going to climb this. And here we go. I find the insulation to be slightly better. So I find this car to be better than the Fortuner in many ways. Actually, the ride is so much better. There's no two ways about it. And the engine isn't as powerful, though. That's a bit of a bummer. But I think the ride is fantastic. Actually, the thing is that the suspension is on the softer side. So overall ride quality is really very good. Especially at low speeds, this car really excels. Yeah, I think something touched on one of the sides, probably slightly bigger pothole or something, or mud hole. Anyways, here we are. Next up is going across this, which means we're just going to climb here. And yeah, now I need to keep the steering all the way like that. Okay, somehow okay, now I get it. If you see, it is actually turning around here itself. So turning radius does not matter at all, because the car actually manages to cling on to this and keep rotating. वाह बेटा वाह, ये तो तुमने मौज कर दी. ये तो मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था, इतने आसानी से घूम रही है. Is the Isuzu MU-X better, or I'm just driving better? Probably that is the truth of the situation. But yeah, that is so cool. Out of this, and we are straight away going to go to the next obstacle, which is the swing. And here we go. I'm just going to do it much better this time. So the swing has to be actually put backwards, because last time I did not move it around. And here we go. With just the weight of this guy, the swing is actually coming down. Yeah, that's how it is done. Now into first gear. I was in reverse actually, and straight up. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to do it much more smoother this time. Last time around it wasn't as smooth. So I'm just going to keep the momentum up, and you know what, like this. Okay, here. You're not going to stop here. I'm not going to wait for this thing to change. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And immediately, oh my god, I felt that. I honestly felt that. Okay, the chassis will break. No, it'll not. Body on frame, ruggedness for the win. And then next up, again, these camel humps, which are like a cakewalk, honestly. Yeah, I need to control speeds when declining, otherwise I'm going to scrape something from the underbelly. Ground clearance is the best here with the Isuzu MU-X at 230 mm. In fact, water wading is the best with obviously the Fortuner 700 mm of water wading capacity. Meanwhile, it is 400 mm for the Safari Storm. I think something is scraping, but I can hear some sound. I don't know why, that's kind of weird. This car's water wading capacity, you guys need to leave a comment below and tell me what it is, okay, because I think it's also ample enough. And yeah, there we go. Front spotter is so important at times now. No, not yet. Now I go, yeah, okay, full right, slow and steady. Here we are going into this thingy, and yeah, I just have to keep controlling my direction. You know, you have to be very gentle on the brakes. I am actually loving this Isuzu. I'm not kidding. It's very good. It's very impressive. It's very nice, honestly. Okay, let's go. Time to climb this. Quite effortless, huh? I don't know why I'm finding the Isuzu to be so good. I never expected it to be so freaking good. This is a very underrated car. Trust me on this. It's super underrated. There we're just crawling, and there we are going down. Last time I think the Fortuner just scraped the lower part of its front bumper on the next obstacle. So let's see if the Isuzu also manages to do that. I hope it doesn't. I hope the Isuzu just manages to cross it very effortlessly, and I believe it will. So here we go. Not this one, the one after that. And here we are up and running very quickly. So here we have to actually climb up, turn properly, and then straighten up as well. I still don't feel we are straight enough, but this is where the Fortuner actually touched. Okay, it's underbelly. Yeah, it actually drops very aggressively. Now I do not carry much in the car right now, just to ensure that nothing falls inside. In fact, I forgot to tell you guys one thing. Okay, first let's finish this, and there we climb up. So yeah, I touched. All these cars keep touching and scraping the slight underbelly somewhere, and this is like a bacche ka khel. Take care here. Oh, we have done a smaller version of this before, so we'll do it anyways again. And cakewalk. Yeah, some sound is coming. Something keeps touching all the time. Now we are not doing this particular one because I think the mud has become soft, so this bridge will not hold its ground. But we are done, and you won't believe the phone did not fall when I brake, so that's also quite nice. That was fast and efficient and nice and fun too. Very much impressed by this Isuzu. Let's see how the Safari does, because the Safari has a big game-changing advantage in one parameter. Guess what it is? Yeah, you guys know what is different in the Safari, but anyways, let's go. Next up, the Tata Safari Storm. I can immediately feel the engine is actually louder somehow. I thought the Fortuner's engine will be the loudest. We get into 4 low, which means I have to get into first gear, and then we get into 4 low. The light will blink, and let it blink there. The light is blinking. Anyways, this is a manual, the only manual in today's off-road session. Okay, stop blinking, which means we are engaged in 4 low, handbrake down, and off we go. So now I also have to work the clutch, which is the interesting part. We start with articulation. Okay, and this car is quite good. Only thing is I find the ground clearance to be lower when compared to the others here, so that's a bit of a problem. Otherwise there's no issue there. There's a bit of a chassis noise, too much of it actually. In the other cars the chassis noise was much lesser, but here the chassis noise is way more. The kind of flex from the chassis is not something I expected from the Safari actually, the original Safari, the real Safari, the Safari Storm. But yeah, it's making that flex sound, in fact from the door pads as well, so you can call them sort of rattles or off-road rattles. But never mind. You know what, the Endeavour issue had happened now, that it doesn't have that bar below and all. Surprisingly, on this circuit the Endeavour has no chassis flex. Yeah, there is no sound from the chassis. The Fortuner makes some sound, the Isuzu also makes some sound. It's not very audible, it's not very obvious, which brings me to the log test with the Safari. Now, because you have to play with the gearbox, you kind of feel the lag more, and the engine definitely feels heavier. It feels a bit unrefined as well. And yeah, there we go with the logs. The suspension is soft, so it's moving quite a little bit more. Oh my god, that made quite a sound. I think it broke the log or something. Yeah, yes. Okay, just play with the throttle amply. We are in first gear only. We're going to do everything in first only. Yeah, actually we should be in first, but I'll be in second. Now here we go. So I can actually leave the clutch because we are in 4 low. It doesn't really matter. It's not like that it's going to stall anyways. And yeah, this is easy peasy in this car. But look at the way the steering is turning. Honestly, you know what, really honestly speaking, this car doesn't feel as smooth and effortless as the Fortuner because of the manual, but the steering is like really very heavy here. Now because of the Safari's soft suspension, it has the most body roll as well. Ride is the best, no doubt about that, but most body roll too. Listen to the sound of the engine, becomes very vocal indeed. This car has done like 24,000 kilometers in around 2 years, which will bring me to the sad story of this car in a bit. And there we go. Okay, it's quite top heavy, the Safari. It's very top heavy indeed, which is expected considering that I think it has the most height of all the cars here. The wipers should be a little lower, I feel. Now let me bring you to the real problem of this car. Okay, ORAZ actually bought this car in late 2019. Just when he came to know that the car is going to be discontinued, he immediately went ahead and bought one. So this is like the last of the Safaris, the real ones, and trust me, it's in immaculate condition. He's really maintained the car very well. But you know what happened, unfortunately? We'll come to that in a bit. It's time to get on top here. I actually told the spotter, you chill, because of the heat I'll do it myself. He's like, no, don't worry. And he's actually come here just to assist and guide. And there, oh my god, we are pointing to the moon. And here we are going to come to a slight halt. Time to go down onto the brakes. Yeah, and we have actually stalled. Yeah, in first gear we have stalled in such a position which is weird. So I'm going to leave the brakes slowly. My seat is moving, the car's rear is stepping out a bit, but yeah, it's done. I think it might just touch on the front lower half because it's like so low down. Anyways, I was telling you this very small and sad story, which is basically in Delhi now, beach mein they plan to ban BS4 diesel cars. This car is barely 3 years old and was in part of that ban. ORAZ was so furious because come on, you can't ban a car which is like 3 years old. They're like too much pollution, we need to ban diesels, and all that also happened. Okay, let's get into third. I am getting into third for the first time, I thought, but then with the automatics I don't know which gear the car was driving in. Now I will not try a jump because ORAZ is actually making the video here outside, and if he sees I've jumped his car now, I might not get those videos, so that's a bit of a bummer. And here into first, and easy peasy, there we go, no problem. This car's height is so much now, I kind of feel कि touch na ho jaye, but it will not obviously. And then it's not as wide, it kind of feels very wide. Very unconventional design from Tata Motors compared to other SUVs because the dashboard is sort of low, the windscreen is huge, it's like massive windscreen. Although I'm getting the itch to throttle hard and make a jump, but I'm not going to do that because ORAZ is right next to me looking what is this guy up to with my car. And then it's time to go through this again articulation, which is a little different here, and there we go. The only problem with this car now, the sounds which are coming from everywhere, that rattle sound, the sound of probably flex from the chassis, that's the only bummer. Else it's quite nice, it's very fun to drive. And then I also stalled it at a very awkward position, like the car was on a sort of 69 position and I stalled, which was very embarrassing to be honest. And here again more articulation. Now the thing is that doing this circle, I have to be careful. We'll come to that circle a bit later because you know what touches the side footboard. So these cars have side footboards which actually hinder them when you take them off-road. That's a bit of a problem. Come on guys, stop making these creaking sounds, you're like freaking me out. Yeah, body on frame for the win. And next up we are going here 45 degrees, which means again nothing to do much. I'll be a little bit more right. When I'm more right now, the front wheel will lift more and you can see a more dramatic shot. And it's time to switch now, the switcheroo. And yeah baby, don't stall. Yeah, look at the amount of revs I'm putting. The car is not moving, the car is in air, but yeah, that's the thing with the manual. You have to be careful. You can't be like, okay, forget it, it's not my problem, let the car deal with it. That's not the way, that's not the solution. You have to actually actively think what you're doing. And I keep forgetting I'm driving a manual because I'm like, fold lo hai na, sambhal to legi. Plus do automatic chalai na back to back, so I'm like, ha, chalo, bhul gaye. Anyways, time for the rock crawl. If it was raining now, things would be a little bit more adventurous and more difficult for these cars because on HT tires, obviously there's no traction as such. And there straight away, time for the rock crawl. Yeah, into first gear. And there, no problem at all. I'm surprised even with the low ground clearance, there's absolutely no problem for this car. Now I have to also tell you one very important thing, that okay, the ride is soft, but you know, on such big fat bumps and all this, you can feel few things and more. Now traditionally I've touched the car on the left side, so I'm traditionally going to take it a little bit more rightwards. Remember one thing, this has the least ground clearance. There's a chance that it might touch because of the breakover angle. I hope it does not. Basically the solution to all touching problems in the world are simply going as slow as possible. Now we are going to skip this, because what happens now, the side footstep actually touches here, and if RS sees me touch his car's side footstep, he is going to kill me, which is going to consult him a bit. Dude, I'll skip the flag, yaar. A side footstep touch hoega gaadi ka, and then you will kill me types. Chalo, straight away swing. So what happens now when you jump on this now, there's a high chance of the side footstep touching, so we'll skip it in this particular car because I don't want to take that risk, especially considering it has the least ground clearance as well. So time to get onto the swing. Look at that Fortuner, looks like an absolute beast of a machine. Oh my god, a Scorpio has also come. This is the classic, without the classic name, the old Scorpio. Time to get onto the swing, which means back into first gear. We will see Tiger Shroff now jump on this one and straighten it up, and there he goes. Kya baat hai beta, wow. Okay, into first. I forgot to tell you guys one thing. Kya bola tha, bhul gaya actually, but anyways, let's keep going. So basically I find the steering to be a bit too hard here, hydraulic steering of course, so it has to be. And now we are going to slowly crawl up. And when I do that, weight will transfer from one side, and as soon as it does, there, yeah, we have switch sides. Now it did not creak that much here, surprisingly. It's actually when the chassis is flexed more now, that is the time where everything comes from the sound actually come from the door pads. So slow and steady, this is a bit extreme, I would say. So we are just going to keep the brakes on a bit. And yeah, thankfully nothing scraped. You know what's the problem with not off-road specific cars, like the basically Safari and of course the Fortuner and the Isuzu MU-X, when compared to the Thar and the Gypsy and the Gurkha, they don't have a fantastic approach angle. So that's the reason why the front bumper is in danger. And then people obviously modify their Thars to make the approach angle even better. You can't do anything with the breakover angle. You can do something with the departure angle by changing the bumper, of course. Yeah, he's telling me to come front. He's going to make me reverse for sure. Time to go down. Here we go. From here now it looks quite bad, but honestly it's not as much, and I'm just going to play with the brakes. I have to also play with the clutch now, so two things to do at once, which is means my phone has just fallen down now. Phone fell here on itself. In the Isuzu, the phone did not fall at all. These seats are not that grippy or resistant or restrictive, so that's a bit of a problem. Hi phone, what's up? Anyways, time to climb this. Now this will be effortless, but I'll have to give some throttle here of course, and then also play with the clutch too. Let's just put it into neutral. Let's try and get hold of the phone. Come on, phone. Yeah. And into first, and here we climb. Don't touch, don't touch, don't touch, and throttle, throttle, throttle. The thing is now the Fortuner and Isuzu have made things easier for the Safari because it's laid this thing, some tracks, smoothened out the surface. Yeah, we're going a little bit backwards, so that throttle is so important to be modulated at the right time when you're going off-road, of course. Yeah, slow and steady, no problem here. Oh god, phone again falling. There, it's gone. We're going to climb this with quite a lot of ease, and there we go. So this track has been purpose built that cars don't scrape so easily, and more cars can actually do this adventure without much of a hesitation, which brings me to this little crazy climb, because you have to actually go rightwards and then straighten up the car, so you should know what is the right angle of your vehicle and not take it in the wrong angle. Now this is a bit extreme where, you know, the front bumper's lower half tends to touch, and here slow and steady, as slow as possible. Please don't touch car, please don't touch car, please don't touch. Yeah, and at a point, because I'm leaving the brakes now, so no, I'm holding on to the brakes, so a little bit of skidding also happens, and I think we are almost done. So that's very fast with this Safari. Obviously it's more fun as well, and then we're just going to climb here. After this there's one more obstacle actually, the little bit of loss of traction, the wheels spinning, and as soon as I climb here, I'm going to climb here on the left as well, which is another sort of articulation which is very chintu mintu and kind of pointless as well, but still we shall do that. You know what, there's this thing for a U-turn, but these cars are too big to actually manage that below, and then you can get stuck, so there's no point doing that either. Oh, it was so much fun. Time for the verdict. Oh my god, what a day! It was so much fun driving these three 7-seater SUVs off the road. Trust me, it was insane amount of fun. The only disappointing part is that it's dry, and because it being a dry day, there was no chance of actually doing water wading. There was no slush, there was no mud, there was no getting stuck anywhere at all happening here, and that's the reason why these HT tires passed today. Now of course, some cars shine in some departments, like the Fortuner is the most expensive car, which is not really a positive, but it's also the most powerful car with the best handling as well, and also the most capable off the road. This is by far the best SUV here. However, it's so pricey now. You keep wondering why would you pay so much for the terrible ride quality of this car. It's stiff and then it keeps moving all over the place at every given moment. The Safari on the other hand has the best ride quality here because it is just so soft, it absorbs almost everything in its stride and has that genuine off-roader feel as well. But the Safari has the worst handling here, and there's so much body roll now, you have to contend with that. The balance of both, the Isuzu MU-X, it somehow slots right in between in terms of ride and handling balance, but it is also a very expensive car, unfortunately. So which is the best car here? Well, the Fortuner is the best looking without a doubt. The Safari is discontinued. Don't buy the fake Safari, it cannot go off-road. The best SUV of course is the one you have, and when I say you have, I mean 4-wheel drive SUV of course, I don't mean the Espresso. So in case you want to go off-road, it really doesn't matter what is the capability of your car. What matters is what is your capability, how scared or how brave you are when you're going through that decline, the car is sliding. Do you panic or do you just hold on to the steering wheel and not give a f? And at the end of the day, all that matters is how much do you enjoy off-roading. The car doesn't matter, it's you. If you like off-roading, you should definitely pick any car you can find with 4-wheel drive capability, because most people who really do this circuit end up driving a Gypsy, and you know, a Gypsy is very capable but very uncomfortable as well, and they have a few on rent. I was planning to go in that, and then I realized I will be covered with dust because everything is dry and I didn't want to take that risk. But yeah, I've driven the Gypsy before. It's a mountain goat, very uncomfortable. Can definitely give the Fortuner a competition in terms of stiff ride quality, because again, you know, leaf spring in that car. But here obviously we have got comfortable suspension, but yeah, body on frame platform and stiff suspension really doesn't help matters. Now I can keep going on and on and on, but I'll not do that. I'm going to end this video right here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, so like the karo na. I'm sure you must have liked it by now. If you have made it till here, subscribe to the channel, and also let me know in the comment section below if I should do more such videos and which are the cars I should take next. Bye bye.